Food. It is the cornerstone of a healthy society. Mrs. Jenkins here knows it. However, she's realized that it's become very scarce recently. This is likely due to the disastrous harvest caused by a rogue orbital bombardment of Sirius Prime. Thankfully, due to the ingenuity of our scientists, more creative sources of nutrients can be found. At the farm, pops from all over the galaxy are hoarded into processing plants, ready to be extracted of their delicious nutrients. After their tastiness has been successfully extracted, they're being put into large vats. Jimmy here makes sure no rogue dimensional horror goo slips into it because we don't want a repeat of last year, do we, Jimmy? Andrew gives the vats a good stir, adding traces of Zro and other highly addictive substances like motes or in some cases, crystal. After cooking all the flavor out of the goo, it's time for canning, so it can arrive at Mrs. Jenkins' kitchen just in time for yet another uninspired meal. Looks like today we have Xeno ice cream. The children love it, but don't get too greedy there, Thomas, or you'll be off to the commercial district to become a clerk.
Who doesn't like Pops? They're the best thing in the game. They create things, keep the empire running and all that great stuff. Except for you clerks. No one likes you. But did you know that Pops can be far more useful than you think? Well, see this planet? All those districts? Full of potential. And all we need to do is build them up. But what is this? Food districts? Well, they'll just get in the way of the glory of the fires of industry. So we can't have those. They're awful for the economy. Sadly, the workers of our empire need delicious nutrients, and without any food districts, we won't be able to keep them strong and healthy. Introducing Meat Packers Incorporated. With their genius marketing approach and a holistic view of synergized ventures, oh, Jesus Christ, our scientists have created a new source of resources. Due to the unique nature of our homeworld, the farm, a second species has had a parallel evolution next to us. The long pig, as they're colloquially known, are now being marched into the pastures to be turned into livestock by the billions. Here, they can frolic to their heart's content and not be worried about the difficulties of society. Now, the meat packers are not barbarians, and unlike Francis Wharton, who killed a deer in British Columbia and then used its teeth to make dentures and then ate the deer, we allow the long pigs to have a healthy, beautiful, and very, very sentient life, and after about 12 months they're marched into the processing plants to take their rightful place in meat packer society. Food problem resolved. Now, the long pig solves our issues with those nasty, nasty food districts, which leaves more space for the glory of industry. However, mining districts are still getting in the way, and Meat Packers Incorporated are not in the mining business, and we're not looking to diversify our portfolio anytime soon. Thankfully, an empire to our galactic south seemed to be populated with living rocks, and we can't sell them any of our processed goo, which isn't very cash money of them. Therefore, due to the magical world of nihilistic acquisition, our market improvement teams have had a perfect idea to make mining districts take their place in the dustbin of history where they belong. After a few short immigration campaigns, the mineral boys from the south, who were, as mentioned previously, an unenthusiastic bunch when it comes to Meat Packers Incorporated, have been successfully converted into loyal donators to our cause and are also being herded into the pastures, where they can live out their lives and be happy that they finally found a purpose. Of course, it is normal that customers can be a bit worn out when it comes to their food. This is why research and development is needed to constantly bring in new and exciting meals to the people. The United Heskar nations, who have a giant piece of grain on their flag, would be a great source of much needed gluten in the meatpackers' diet. So of course, our acquisition team went out to recruit some of their members to show us the magic of their grain. Whilst all of this was going on, a possible boon had opened up. The galactic community had a massive IPO and opened up a market. And whilst a variety of goods had now become available at an ever lower price, the real win here is the wonders of Flavor Emporium, where new materials would frequently become available to take our citizens straight to Flavortown. And whilst the Heskar nations were rapidly drained of their hard-earned grains, new and exciting ingredients could be bought rather quickly on the market. With all this food and minerals streaming straight out of our processing facilities, we would need to come up with new ways of using this nearly infinite source of wealth and repackage it into new and exciting products. Catalytic processing, whilst being a bit of a dull name, but the boffins over at Meatpacker Labs Limited found out about it and won the fight with marketing over the naming rights, is the process of turning food into alloys, which would fit in perfectly with our objectives when it comes to the glory of the fires of industry. After a few decades of this whole process, our customers became a little bit restless. They had seen it all, and their banquets were becoming a little bit stale. Thankfully, our genetic engineering department already had a plan ready. With evolutionary mastery and genetic resequencing under our belt, we could now create all sorts of great products. Stripping entire flocks of their traits, hollowing out their remains, refining them, add a little bit of spit shine, and boom! Hescaris, a healthy breakfast cereal, was born. What kind of ingredients would Hescaris have? Well, delicious? Of course. Robust? Why wouldn't we? A stronger flock is a better flock. And to spice things up a little bit, we added erudite, because who doesn't want a food source to be completely aware of what's going on and what their eventual fate, and that of every single follow-up generations to come, is going to be. Some of them weren't too happy with it. They preferred the classic Huskar flavor, but after genetically removing their limbs and mouths and turning them into cubes of sentient meat, they were all fine. And as a bonus, we could now stack them, which means that the pastures weren't even needed anymore. Champagne was popped in the logistics office that day, I can tell you. In the end, we ended up with perfect worlds. No mines, no farms, just happy pops working in industry and commercial districts, adding value to the economy. Except you clerks. You're still awful. So if you're ever in town, swing by Meatpackers Incorporated, where your flavor is our flavor. Would you like to find out why it's not a good idea to bring back the husk of a dimensional horror back to your homeworld and mix it in with your nutritional goo? Well, there's a reason why Jimmy needs to check on that on the regular. Check out this video that's on your screen right now to find out.